welcome back to the studio after that rather confusing match. I'm still not entirely sure what was going on there. Like
I'm exactly sure what was going on.
Like you pointed out, there was a set of drones right next to him. Like maybe didn't he realize this is something about the atmosphere of a tournament being nervous or
it is
whatever.
Super high pressure. The tournament environment is so stressful that it is easy to make these kind of mistakes. But he had enough time that he really, and that's what they think. His alliance mates could be watching the stream, could be kind of seeing what's going on. They should at least have suggested to him.
Well, his alliance mates are all on field with him.
Yeah, in pods. They can see where all the drones are. Yeah, they really should have said, hey, dude, pick up some drones on your drone bonus damage. Your drone damage bonus ship.
Any drone that does damage.
Yes.
Collect it and apply that damage to one of these Cinnaballs.
He flew past a group of Guard 2s. He was on one side of them, and he slow-boated like within a couple kilometers of them, and then just continued on by.
So, why did the Macarial die there? Was it like a piloting mistake on his end?
It's hard to avoid cruise damage in Macarial.
And he was dealing with cap problems from earlier, like not hugely great cap on the Macarial, especially if he's like he didn't have a booster, never had a chance to run a booster.
He would have died a lot earlier if there'd been 2 sets of Berserkers on him instead of 1.
Yes, he would have died very quickly.
Or the set of Berserkers and like a set of Guard 2s.
Or even
literally anything. Warriors.
Or, like, if I'm going to apply armor maintenance spots with my 125 bandwidth Armageddon, I might not choose lights, and the ship might survive.
Are we completely sure that he did not have guards out? That he wasn't using any type of drone?
Yes. I'm nearly positive he was not using any drones towards the end of that match. As soon as I saw... I started monitoring his drones when he had the light armor maintenance spots on the other Armageddon. And then from there, I don't think he ever picked up another drone.
So I'm going to read out a couple of tweets about this match because they're pretty funny. Rayvon Eve tweets, "This match, what?" That is a pretty good summary of the match, actually. Mm-hmm. So Roderick Vicaris tweets, "What's going on here?" Equally confused. Bad Pinup tweets, "OMG, OMG." All great tweets here. Okay. Then Bobmon, at Bobmon Eve, has actually been waiting the entire tournament for a Cinnabal to show up. Got hyper excited once Stay Frosty brought them. So he tweeted, "Go Cinnabals, you can do it. Do your kiting thing. Hashtag tweetfleet. Hashtag NEO2. Hashtag gotta believe. Hashtag no not believing."
But they also didn't do any kiting.
And also, they didn't really go in close either. They just decided to sit in barrage range.
Yep.
All the time.
Hey, changing your ammo takes time, man. That's DPS lost. No, it's not.
So Raymond Eve tweeted again after that, "Best match ever. I can't stop laughing." So, like from an entertainment perspective, this is actually a very, very good match. So,
so this is another one of those cases where like it's sort of empowering to be a commentator when something is going wrong because we're behind a 25 second something like that delay, maybe 40 seconds, but like when we say like you really should use some drones, and then like nobody uses, like you're just like there was no commentator FCing there, which is a little bit frustrating, but it was an interesting match, interesting choices all around.
Yeah, it is. So the next match we have coming up is actually a pretty cool match, and that is We Can't Afford This versus Last Huzzah. And I have the bands here if you want to hear them. We Can't Afford This band the Oniros and the Golem, and Last Huzzah band the Dominics and the Keris.
Carries.
Yeah. So actually, that's one of those ones we haven't seen a lot of Carries bands. They definitely suggest to me a team that wants to rely on its own EWAR of some kind and doesn't want Carries counter damping them.
Yeah,
so Celestis's, Blackbirds, any other kind of EWAR essentially, even Kitsune's, Griffins, all of those are going to have a big problem with the Carries. And so if you're trying to rely on a control setup like that, then that's a ship you definitely want to avoid.
Yep.
You know what match is after this next match?
Cube.
I'm so excited for that match.
We get to see Cube 2 Hypercube, the new Saki who will bring.
Let's focus on this match at hand. We can't afford this was the last to if we can get the updated schedule up here, then we can show you exactly what matches we have for the rest of the day.
And it's coming up.
It should come up any second. I'm not worried.
Now.
Yep, there it is. So we have here after the break, what we've seen so far is in terms of teams getting knocked out, Freeloaders are out, Team Footwork are surprisingly out, Titanian Fleet are out, Sinusoidal Field Theory are out in a relatively even match, in a pretty even match, and Kids with Knives finally are out in a hilarious match. So next up, We Can't Afford This versus Last Huzzah. After that, Team Cube, the cube of everyone's heart versus Epic Fins winning tournaments. That's going to be an interesting match. Then,
some might even say he's the cube of your heart is your companion cube.
Yes. And then finally, we wrap today up by watching Smoking is Bad taking on MIF. And with that, we will conclude this first weekend of the New Eden Open. We will, of course, be back the weekend after with some more matches. But so what can you tell me about this next match? We Can't Afford This versus Last Huzzah.
So We Can't Afford This is one of our mini triumvirate corps in this New Eden Open. So they're a Hackstad, a corp and triumvirate. They lost yesterday to their alliance mates, the Volta guys in Rampage.
Yes.
And honestly, I mean, it wasn't that close of a match, but it also wasn't like they didn't make a ton of mistakes. It was just Rampage did a really great job of it. It was the one where they had to move in past those guards, and Rampage just kind of slow played it perfectly. So I'm actually expecting still pretty good things for them. I'm looking at them as a pretty strong contender of these teams in the lower bracket.
Yeah,
Will they use drones?
We'll see. I mean, we do have some bans of the drone ships. The Dominix is out, so they could be going Ishtars.
If they bring a ship with a drone damage bonus, will that ship use drones, or will it use light armor maintenance bots?
Hopefully we'll use damage drones. Hopefully in that case.
So I can see the teams are getting in on the field right now, so we're just a couple of minutes out.
And it's really interesting what we're seeing.
Really?
Yeah. Yes, this will be a fun match.
Okay. You heard it here first.
Looking forward to that. So, yeah, I'm just waiting to hear match ready in my ear.
We Can't Afford This. Like I said, the Hackstad guys, Last Huzzah are really experienced tournament teams. This is probably one of the more competitive matches in this losers bracket for today. And so we will hopefully see more really kind of high-level competition and a bit less of the sort of derpity-derp that we've been seeing in a couple other matches.
Yep.
Herpy derp derp.
Herpy derp. No, I mean, so we've been talking a lot about how strong the losers bracket actually is, but like so then these matches kind of come and they're very variable. Like some matches were kind of like really one-sided, some rookie mistakes being made or mistakes being made, but in particularly when it comes to following matches in the losers bracket, when you get a little bit further into the losers bracket, we have really strong teams there.
Yep.
So
and even these teams making the big mistakes, they're not necessarily bad players by any means. They're
just under a lot of pressure.
Yeah, and everyone can make those kind of mistakes. I mean, we saw all the boundary violations from the PL team in the last New Eden Open. I mean, just about everyone makes terrible mistakes in the tournament.
Pretty much.
Have you ever made a mistake in the tournament? Oh.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. It'll be a short answer though. So.
Yeah, CC Fozzie, really glad that he doesn't have to answer that. Predictions.
I'm going to go with We Can't Afford This.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Last Huzzah.
I am going to go with We Can't Afford This because they obviously need the money, so I hope they take the whole thing home.